Hi there, it's Carrie Palmer. I have been so busy lately, my mind is boggled. I made a video, what, 2, 3 days ago? I blogged. It's like I just kind of sit. Yesterday was a day of sitting. I sat in my recliner and I talked to I think 8 people yesterday. So much has been going through. And Patty, it was so good to see you change your story, like right as we were having a conversation. I saw growth right there in you, girl. So the reason for this video, I took a bath, and when I take a bath, I'm told, here's what your next step is. And I just love water, my connection when I'm in the water. And so I'm supposed to make another video. I've made many about this, but this one is very specifically about when you come to a fork in the road. Do I do this? Do I do that? The old fork thing. The answer is actually so easy. We just have such a hard time doing it. And this is where my practice was over the last years, decades, is when I would get to a fork in the road. For instance, I was working for a merchandising service company and I was a regional manager. I was in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. And my boss called me. We had really amazing, strong women running this company. Sorry, guys, nothing about men, but this guy that worked with us in the field went to headquarters and he got a job and he got promoted up to where he was over like the field force. And he couldn't wait to be in control of two of us women that were just stronger than he was. And so once he got to corporate, he called me and he called Andrea and he said, hey, yeah, we've decided to move all regional manager positions into corporate. So you have to move to Detroit. Are you kidding me? Here I lived in Cuyahoga Falls, which is beautiful. I had to drive through Detroit frequently to get to corporate, which was in Rochester Hills, Michigan. But I'm like, I'm not moving to Detroit. And there's just no doubt. The moment he said, you're moving, you have to move to Detroit. It's like, this is how this works. And God, I'm hoping to pound this into your heads. At the moment when the choice is put out there, like, you have to move to Detroit, my higher self, me, my guidance, my gut, my everything knew there was no way I was moving. And so that moment, I felt light. I felt free. I felt like angel wings were wrapping around me. When the choice is made within you, that's when the action begins. But you don't have to do it. And this is what I'm trying to explain. I've been working with somebody on an indecision issue for a very long time here. And choice, decision, make a decision, because indecision is a decision. And I'll get into that later. I sat on things for forever, when you're in a story for 28 years and you need to get out of it in 10, but you stay for another 18, that is indecision. That is a decision. So when we get to the fork in the road of any kind, what you probably would have done in this circumstance, you're told your job, you're a regional manager, you started as a merchandiser, you went to territory manager, district manager, and now you're over half of the country. And now you're being told you have to move to Detroit. You'd move probably, right? I mean, you have your insurance, you've got your security, you've got the job you've had for 7, 8 years, whatever. Immediately I knew I'm not moving because I never followed the money or the security. I always followed love. And when the path comes before you and this is the secure way, I've got something there, I know I got it, it may not be what I want, but I have something. If you go for that, you know how it feels. And that's usually what we do. Off we go. Me? No, I just put on my cape and I jump off the cliff because I have no idea what the other direction is. You can't know what your option is until you're at the fork and you choose the other one. Because if you choose the familiar, the one you've been doing, you know how it feels. You know how you're always wishing, but you don't take the chances. You don't take that risk. You don't jump off the cliff. So every time I've jumped off the cliff, every single time when I opted for not following the obvious, this is where I'm trying to explain. Once you don't follow the obvious, you opened up a door, a portal, if you will, into your future because you chose you. You chose to follow and trust that you set up an amazing path for yourself. And it was not following that. It was going, it's scary. I know. But when we keep doing that, we keep settling for mediocrity because we have no idea what that brings us. You got to go that way. When I was happily perforating my eardrums by cliff diving for years when I was younger, I had to climb up the rock and you get to the top of the cliff. And it was depending on the water level at Lake Mead, it was 25, maybe 30 feet high. I knew where I was jumping and diving into. I've dove there many times. But when you get to the edge of that rock and you have to kind of tippy toes, squiggy your toes down to the edge of the rock, and that look, it's like, imagine, if you will, for the first time ever, you're going to jump out of an airplane. You're leaning over the edge. You see that you're going to jump. For a second, close your eyes. What does that feel like? Unbelievable fear. You need a diaper. It's like that holy crap, what am I doing? And what I'm trying to say is all of our life, when we're at that fork and we go this way, it's because of that. God, I get emotional now. It's because of that feeling. We know what this feels like. We're so scared we don't want to go that way. We can't do it because it is so uncertain. And we know what certainty is because we come here thinking we need money, houses, property, real estate. No, we don't. Everything we have, everything we need will be provided, but we need to keep going that way. We got to stop going that way. So imagine you're jumping out of an airplane, you're leaning over, and all you want to do is vomit. Remember how that feels. Because think about it. When I would dive off the cliff, and I always did swan dives. I was a one-trick pony. What can I say? I didn't jump. Jumping hurt more than diving. I was able to do this and, keep my head protected. Jumping hurt. But I would do these swan dives. And as soon as I left the rock, exhilaration, complete freedom, complete you go girl. The same feeling you'd have if you jumped out of an airplane. The fear you have because you won't do that thing, that line in the sand that you don't want to cross. But once you take the leap, it's exhilaration every time. And what I'm trying to get across in these videos, I have somebody I'm dealing with who is at a crossroad, who is clearly head in the sand. I didn't realize how far gone or how much not aware this person was until moments ago. I thought they knew so much more than they do spiritually about how all this works, but they don't. Everybody is here on their own journey. This is the one thing. We are here on our own individual journeys, each one of us. Our journeys are interconnected. We do have families and other people that your decisions affect other people, right? And we know this is trickle down. But when you're in some kind of a story that's horrible and you're stuck in it, I was married when I was young to a man that I needed to marry because, boy, this helped me grow. I was married with him for 5.5 years. And then I finally had, this was the other choice I made. The other big one that really was huge. I was so connected to this man and safe. He was horrible to me. He was emotionally abusive, but I chose it. I didn't get to work because I would have cheated. It was horrible, but I stayed in this story out of fear of leaving. And he kept threatening me with divorce. He was going to throw me out. He was going to throw me out. I was so scared. I was scared all the time. All I did was cry. That was pathetic. You guys, it's so funny. People can't imagine me as I was. Oh my God. I don't think I have any videos or anything of me at that time. But I found some books and I read them and they empowered me. They gave me a little hope. I just had a light. I just needed a glimmer. And so I promised myself the next time he threatened me with divorce, even though I was 2,500 miles away from anybody I knew, I was moving out. Period. End of story. I just knew I had to do that. That had to be my next step, which that's all I ever talk about. One step at a time. So we went out one night, had a great time. I sang all night. People loved me. It was wonderful. We went home and he said, did you have a good time? And I said, oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was the best night of my life in 5.5 years. And he said, good, because if you ever sing in public again, we're getting a divorce. The moment the words came out of his mouth, I literally felt elevated. I felt lifted into the skies. He just said the words. The words came out. I'd already made the decision that when that word came out, what I was going to do. And this is what I'm trying to say, that I know people fear making choices. You don't have to take the action and have that strength to take the action. All you have to do is go inside and say, I'm doing it. Knowing you're going to do it. Your soul knows you've pulled the trigger. This is what I want you to hear. The steps are already in motion. Believe it and you will see it. Once you made the decision, it is done. You don't have to do anything. When he said divorce, I felt light and I went to bed and I slept better than I did in 5.5 years. He went to work the next morning. I moved out. I got an apartment. I was gone. It was easy because all I had to do was make that commitment to myself that I was going to take care of me finally and do something right. The word divorce started everything going. I didn't have to do anything. So don't let yourself be stuck. Try this, test this with one little piece of your life. When you're at a fork and you know you're going to go that way because it's comfortable and it's convenient and you know what it is, say no to that. I dare you to say no to that. Because if you do, you're going to learn what I'm talking about. You're going to find the next breadcrumb you had on your path here, which is going to take you to something better, and then something better, and then something better. I stayed stuck after I left that man, crying and yearning, please come and get me, even though I knew I would never go back to that man. It was like I was stuck in that story. I had nobody to tell me these things. I had nobody to help me get out of my story. I loved him. He saved me, but it took me 5.5 years to find the strength to put one pinky toe out and start pulling my way out. And then my next part of my life, I met my ex, John, my two exes, and I was with him 28 years. I should have left him long, long ago, but I was stuck. I couldn't make the decision. It felt off. It was wrong. When we met, we were so perfect for each other. I was going up like this and he's going like this, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's having a chill life. He's enjoying Coors Light on the lake. That's fine. I was this, but when we met, we were in this place, we fell in love, we got married, and he's this way and I'm this way. So it was off for the longest time because I couldn't go that way. And so I stayed stuck when it felt so wrong. When it feels icky, it's time to move on. It's time to make a choice. You're at a fork. If it feels icky, you're at a decision point. Don't let indecision be the decision because you will stay stuck. So the bottom line for this entire video, you have a choice to make about something. Follow the easy way, follow the way you've always known how it goes or what it is, which is staying with my ex-husband, or jump off the cliff. The second you decide, make the choice within your soul that you're doing it, it's done for you. Your strength is there. The action steps are presented. Everything you need to do is presented for you. You just need to make the choice to do it. And that's all there is to it. I hope this is short. I didn't want to go too long. Choose for you. Choose what feels right within you. Namaste.